too. Terry Morin said at about 65%. They had to figure out how to play with her on the floor again.
Indiana with the ball in their hands. That is Cardano-Hillary, number 4. Cardano-Hillary is really one of the spark plugs on this team. Patberg against Clark, the 7th-year senior against the sophomore, and Clark comes up with a rebound. You talked about her scoring and assists. How about she leads her team in rebounding as well?
She does. She is a terrific defensive rebounder, and she can get it in and push transition.
Martin kept it alive. Gabby Marshall, who was their defensive stopper, with the miss, and Patberg streaks in to come up with the rebound. And these two teams played just over 2 weeks ago. And there's the nice cut for Cardano-Hillary.
Well, Indiana does so well with their dribble drive offense. They attack the gaps, attack the lane lines, and that time perfect spacing for the backdoor cut. This is what I think Iowa has to do. I think they have to get Czinano touches early and often in this ball game.
She has been unstoppable so far, hitting about 80% of her shots over the weekend.
And Pam in their two matchups earlier this season, she had 53 total points. They got to give her the ball and let her go to work.
And sometimes early on, there's a pattern where Caitlin Clark comes out, very exciting and excitable player, and she takes a lot of early shots, and it looks like an effort to get it into Czinano, and there's another play by Cardano-Hillary, who is a transfer from George Mason right outside of Washington, D.C., where she was a great scorer. And she is, and I mean this as a high compliment, so annoying.
She is. She is one of those defensive players that is always just up in you. She is aggressive, she is relentless, and she gets on offensive players' nerves.
Clark has it roll off, but Czinano got it blocked. Good defense. Indiana couldn't hang on to it, but doing a good job trying to keep Czinano in check. And the thing is, when Cardano-Hillary came, she was just a scorer at George Mason. In fact, their all-time leading scorer in just 3 seasons, and really is locked down on the defensive end in Bloomington.
Well, Terry Morin challenged her. The way to get on the basketball court is to defend. Be a defensive stopper for our team. Well, you can't go under a screen on Caitlin Clark. You have to find a way to fight over the top.
You will pay, averaging about 3 threes per game. Again, 41 points against Nebraska yesterday.
Well, early communication on-ball screens is really important. Number 1, you have to go over the top. Number 2, if you're Mackenzie Holmes, you've got to be up higher and tighter. Caitlin Clark doesn't need but a little bit of daylight.
And her range is pretty much
anywhere in this building.
Right, anywhere she wants it to be. Patberg, her turn for a 3, just a little bit too strong. Rebound taken down by Warnock, a very important player for Iowa, got into a little bit of foul trouble in yesterday's semi. And they're defeating her. Czinano again.
As they should. She's shooting at 68% from the floor. She does such a good job of doing her work early, getting great position.
First in the nation in field goal percentage, was 3rd in the nation coming in before she really took off here in the Big Ten tournament, and she has already announced that she is going to come back next year as a super senior.
Really exciting for Lisa Bluter, bringing this entire team back, an opportunity to do some special things.
Czinano again has it tipped off the rim. Golbe coming up with the rebound. Golbe did not start yesterday, was feeling under the weather, told us she feels like a whole new person today, which is good news for IU. Berger against Martin, 2 gritty players. Patberg goes by Clark, Czinano helps over. Shot clock dying for Berger. So composed.
She is, and she's so good in the mid-range. Whether she's crossing over, whether she's spin move, she is just money in the mid-range.
First team all Big Ten performer, a lot of honors for this Indiana team. Clark was the player of the year in the league. She's bottled up. Warnock couldn't save it, and who else but Cardano-Hillary.
That's what she does, right, Pam? She just gets involved in every single play.
She has 6 of their 8 points and another steal. Nope, they're going to call it a foul, but the foul is against Caitlin Clark.
Grace Berger again, so good in the mid-range, and you mentioned her poise and composure, and the pass just a little too high for Warnock. Cardano-Hillary able to get out and get an easy 2. I mean, this is an experienced Indiana ball club. They understand the moment. Allie Patberg said, you know what, I feel like we're the hardest working team in the country. We have earned this opportunity to play for a championship.
So Clark picks up the foul on the other end. Gulbe got it stripped away by Czinano. Iowa second in the nation in scoring this year. Martin lost it, but it was knocked out by Indiana.
I think you got to get on that right hand of Kate Martin. She has been so good at getting down that right lane line all tournament long.
Kate Martin has had a terrific weekend. Marshall with the miss. Berger able to board it and bring it up for this Indiana team, guarded by Tony Taiwo, and she beats it to the spot.
You just get used to Grace Berger pulling in the mid-range, and she turns on the jets and gets by you, goes all the way to the rim. Just such a heady player.
Martin stopped by Gulbe. And the IU fans, sounds like they're in Bloomington right now. Foul.
How important is that to commit to women's sports around the conference?
This is a priority to me personally, to the Big Ten Conference. We showed it this year by hiring the first ever vice president of women's basketball, Megan Kahn. She's doing an outstanding job. And when you look around at this environment, to see the fans, the excitement, the energy, and to see these young women doing so great, not only on the court, but in the classroom.
Well, the conference commitment to women's basketball in particular is so very strong. There are 5 teams in the top 5 in the net and 5 teams in the top 35 as well. 6 teams in the top 35, excuse me. How important is that to see the success of the investment that you're putting into women's sports, especially women's basketball in the conference?
I mean, it's very rewarding. I mean, we had 7 teams make the NCAA tournament last year. I expect at least that this year. They're playing well. We have great student athletes, great coaches, great fans. And what's great is that on our campuses, the administrators, everyone is buying into it. And this is really what it should look like. And it's only going to get better each year.
And I love that you said that it's only going to get better. We love it. Thank you so much for your support of women's sports.
And thank you for everything you do in ESPN.
Thank you. Pam?
All right, thank you, Christy. And Czinano at the line after a Berger foul. I think the Big Ten this year has been, you've covered it for the Big Ten Network as well as for ESPN. The difference between the top seed and the 5 seed is wafer thin. I mean, it came down to last week.
It did. It came down to the last week. You could have had 5 teams that had a share of the Big Ten title. I mean, it really is incredible. And considering what every team in the country, not just in the Big Ten, are going through this year with compressed scheduling, rescheduling games, playing every other day, I mean, it is really fun to watch this league from top to bottom.
It's been very exciting all the way down to the wire. Clark comes up with the Moore McNeil miss. Iowa's not gotten a field goal in 4 minutes. Thank you very much, and you're absolutely right, Rebecca Lobo. Cardano-Hillary, we talked about how she could be annoying. You call her a pest, and she drew Caitlin Clark's second foul. I mean, this is an example of what she can do, getting up in your stuff, and Caitlin pushed away.
It is. It's just so frustrating when she's stuck to you like glue all of the time, and Caitlin Clark trying to plead her case most of the time. The officials stick with the original call, right?
Yeah, I don't remember seeing them ever reverse it. Goldberg just picked up a foul, but 2 fouls on Clark. That's huge.
2 fouls, both offensive.
Nicole Cardano-Hillary was the all-time leading scorer at George Mason. She transferred to Indiana and had to refocus and recommit to defense. She's second in the Big Ten in steals with 2 a game. But she's like a Snuggie, you guys, on defense, on and off the ball on the defensive end. And that's why Caitlin Clark is like, get away from me. Like, I'm trying to take this cut, and you're in my way. I mean, there's a lot of passion with both of those players, but Cardano-Hillary is a pesky one.
I always say she reminds me of Debbie Black. For those who remember Debbie Black, who was, I mean this in the most compliments, the pest in her own right.
Yes.
And Pam, right over there, about where Terry Morin's standing right there. Debbie Black and I went after a loose ball. She lost her tooth, got stuck in the floor right there. Also one of the toughest players I've ever played against.
Again, her tooth stuck in the floor.
Had to take it out.
During a game. And she kept playing?
She kept playing until they had to take her to get oral surgery.
Taiwo fouled. Now Terry Morin's turn to get a word in. Gina Cross, and here is Tony Taiwo, senior from Carmel, Indiana. That's close, right?
That's close.
Carmel or Carmel?
It's Carmel.
Sorry.
But it's just up the road, just up 31. Stanford, one of the best teams in the country that we never hear enough about.
Absolutely. Grace Berger just picked up her second for Indiana. She is the ball right now. Utah with a couple of big wins to get into the championship. Oh, Holmes lost it. Clark guarded by Pat Bird now. Gets the screen from Czinano. Fans here wanted a Clark travel call, didn't get it. Czinano showing she's got a little bit of range.
We don't typically see that shot from Monika Czinano, but again, it shows the work that she's put in. She's able to move around on the floor, find open space when Caitlin Clark puts it on the floor.
And now, those are the Iowa fans you were hearing. There's quite a few of them in the building, not as many as Indiana, but they're making a lot of noise. Holmes fouled by Czinano.
We'll watch the drive right here. Caitlin Clark doesn't have it. Finds Kate Martin, who again, the dribble punch, and when you commit to those lane line drives, the ability for Iowa to share the basketball, and Czinano knocks down that jumper.
Lisa Bluter told us today after practice that Monika Czinano last night was 9 of 11 from the floor. Incredibly efficient. Why don't you shoot more than 11 shots, Monika, is what she asked her. Right now, she is clicking in that same manner efficiently. She is 7 of 9 from the floor for 16 points so far here in the first half.
Well, Christy, you know why she doesn't shoot more than 11 times, because as a post player, you have to get the ball from somebody, right? Feed her the basketball.
Leads the country in field goal.
And offensive glass.
And offensive glass. But they have to miss for that.
And you see Clark and Czinano doing most of the work. The rest of the team for Iowa have missed 9 of their last 11. But Indiana's missed 6 straight shots from the floor, hence they're down by 5. Minute and a half left to go in the first half of the Big Ten championship. Indiana trying to win their first in 20 years. Berger off the mark, Gulbe got the follow, and now everybody's on the floor. Tie up, possession arrow goes to the Hawkeyes. Gulbe back and healthy today for this Indiana team. Second team all Big Ten. All of their starters honored by the Big Ten this year, by the writers and the coaches who get to vote separately.
Again, we talk about this Indiana team and the balance. Tough to focus on 1 or 2 players, but they're going to need to get Mackenzie Holmes going. She's going to have to find a way to attack and put some pressure on the Iowa post. And there's Kate Martin again. She has been terrific in this tournament. Her aggressiveness to the glass, Lisa Bluter said, really takes it to another level. She's always been the glue. but offensively, what she's been able to give them has been huge.
O'Grady with the block of Cardano-Hillary. Freshman from Colorado has been productive.
Yeah, it's tough right here. You get the first one. If you're Cardano-Hillary, you're probably not going to get that second one. You got to bring it back out, set up offense, or get the ball to the backside for an open shot.
O'Grady leading his team in blocks, had a really good game in their loss to Maryland earlier this year. Gulbe, that's the first 3 for the Hoosiers today. Gets the crowd back into it. It's only a 4-point game.
Indiana's a team that doesn't really take a lot of threes, only 20% of their field goal attempts, and usually that's Ali Patberg and Cardano-Hillary, but that was a big one.
They had missed 10 straight shots before Gulbe found the bottom of the net. O'Grady, miss. Shot clock is off for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, you want to get the last shot right here if you're Indiana. Grace Berger knows it. This is where you see just the discipline and the experience of this Hoosier ball club.
Yeah, Berger, so heady. The senior from Louisville. The step, and hits it.
And they do not want Caitlin Clark to go off. So look for more ball pressure from Indiana.
And also, how about Ali Patberg not scoring in the first half? For IU, their 5 starters averaging in double figures. Martin blocks Berger to get things going in the second half. And Indiana playing in its first final in 20 years. They won it all 20 years ago. Third time in 4 years Iowa's been in the final. They won it in 2019. Behind the back, Berger to Patberg.
That's one way Ali Patberg can get herself going, get some easy looks at the rim. And again, you see that poise and decision-making by Grace Berger. Didn't have what she wanted, started to bring it out, and then found her open teammate.
Berger is such a complete player for this Indiana team, and we are all tied up. Iowa led by as many as 7 in the second quarter. Czinano really in a battle with Holmes, who blocked her shot.
That was the first time that Mackenzie Holmes won that battle of physicality inside.
Cardano-Hillary can't get it to go.
Terry Morin talked to us about Mackenzie Holmes needing to keep Czinano off the block, out of the halo, out of the restricted area. That is the first possession she's been able to do that.
This time she is inside of it, but another good defensive play by Holmes. And you have to wonder, the double fatigue, 4 games in 4 days, and as Christy mentioned, this is a kid, Holmes, who missed so much time, a month of time, because of the knee injury, working her way back in.
And once she did get back in, they were playing every other day or every third day, so didn't have practice time, didn't have recovery time.
Gulbe left it short. Cardano-Hillary all over the place. Patberg. Holmes for 3.
Pam, in the first half, Indiana was not moving the basketball. Exactly what Christy had mentioned. They had 5 assists on 11 made field goals. Terry Morin says we're at our best when we have a high assist to made field goal ratio. Lots of players touched the ball on that possession and got a good high percentage look.
Martin with the shot clock at 4. Spins in. Holmes there again with the defense. Patberg regained. Now they're going to slow it down a little bit. Setting up for Berger. Over Martin. Indiana's on fire in the third quarter.
Pam, Grace Berger, the pace of her dribbles makes it really difficult to defend because she pounds that dribble right into a quick shot. It's not soft. You don't know when it's coming. You can't anticipate it. She keeps you off balance.
Czinano breaks a 12-0 Indiana run that went back to the second quarter.
She got 2 feet in the restricted area. Can't stop her when she gets 2 feet in the restricted area.
Berger, good screen from Holmes. She's hitting everything.
And she always looks the same. You see the expression, it's always the same. Whether she's making every shot, missing every shot, she plays with the same pace, the same intensity, the same locked-in focus.
She did give the palms up sign, very subtle though. The universal sign for I'm on fire. Czinano is not happy that she didn't get a foul call.
Well, I need you to show me that sign.
Yeah. Stepped on the baseline.
Indiana has come out of the locker room hot right away, going at the rim. Allie Pat Berg gets her first 2 of the ball game. Mackenzie Holmes gets a 3, her second shot attempt of the ball game. And then Grace Berger, so cool, calm, and collected in the mid-range, gets 1 to go.
Clark fouled out on the perimeter. And that is 3 on the player we just talked about, Grace Berger.
Yeah, I think that's one of those plays that Indiana really has to communicate. They completely opened up that left side for Caitlin Clark. You got to communicate that to your team. Make sure she knows she's on an island.
Clark, the leading scorer in the country, averaging 28 points per game with 10 so far. Has not scored here in the third. Czinano muscles it up and gets fouled.
Monika Czinano wanted the basketball. Look at her physicality, that toughness, getting it up on the glass, and then the energy, the emotion.
Down by Ariel Wisney, who came into the game to give Holmes a little bit of a blow. Wisney had a nice block yesterday in the semis. A win against the top seed Ohio State Buckeyes. Martin couldn't wrest it away from Gulbe. So Berger staying out there with the 3 fouls.
Yeah, she's just going to have to be smart, be disciplined.
Clark grabbed by Gulbe on the way around. That is the second on Gulbe, who is from Riga, Latvia. Chatted with her earlier today. Gulbe speaks Latvian, English, Italian, and she said a little bit of Russian, which means she's darn near fluent.
Right.
Oh boy, Clark thought about it. Gets inside of Pat Berg. Yeah, you're right. For people who, you see she scores a lot of points, but she's not just a chucker. She's not going to go out there and shoot threes. She's so versatile.
Yeah, and certainly in this Big Ten tournament, we've seen a lot more of it just because of the way that teams are playing her, and that's a credit to Caitlin Clark's growth as a player.
Misses the 3. Berger comes away with it and settles. Grace Berger with 7 assists in the semi-win yesterday against Ohio State, leading her team. That's why Gabby Marshall gets a lot of playing time. Not going to score a lot of points, but a really good perimeter defender. Warnock's been rather quiet. That was loud.
Sure was. It sure was. And Warnock was a player who missed some games because of a wrist injury for Iowa, missed the Maryland game that we called, got back on the floor, and Iowa got on the run.
Pat Berg. There's Gulbe guarded by Czinano. Turns, shoots, hits.
And that's a different kind of matchup for Czinano than Mackenzie Holmes. Not going to be as much back to the basket. A good face-up, nice touch by Gulbe.
What a game. We've had 5 ties and 6 lead changes. It was intentional.
Yes.
They did not, the officials did not go over and look at the monitor, and there you see Caitlin Clark having a great tournament, but so far today, well below her average pace with 12 points and 3 personal fouls still on the floor. She is not fouled out this year. 3 off the mark by Moore McNeil.
Well, she's 5 of 11 from the floor, 1 for 5 from 3. right now's the time where she could dig in and get on a run. So if you're Cardano-Hillary, you want to continue to just stay in her space. Don't allow anything easy.
Yeah, because she obviously has gotten to Caitlin. Warnock. A couple of buckets here in the third quarter, averaging 11.5 points per game. Did not score in the first half. Iowa bounces back on top. Rebound by Martin, and here's Clark in the open floor. Hounded by Patberg. Splits the defense and scores.
Oh, that was a tough two right there.
Good defense. She was doubled and still was able to get the shot off and put it in. Cardano-Hillary gets it over to Patberg. Nice.
Allie Patberg was silenced in the first half. She's starting to come alive here in the second. And this is what Indiana has to do. You have to attack the seams of that 2-3 zone. You cannot continue to just pass the ball around the perimeter.
Double Czinano around the horn.
Good recovery by Grace Berger.
Yeah. Clark, step back three, in and out.
That looked like Caitlin Clark was going to be open for a shot.
Yeah.
What pursuit on the closeout by Grace Berger to get there.
Berger, rebound, Holmes. Warnock, over to Clark, it's 1-on-3. Clark blows by Patberg and draws the foul. Holmes got her.
Oh, Caitlin Clark right here going at two defenders, splitting them, finishing in traffic. I mean, that is a tough finish right there. And then that one, Mackenzie Holmes got her on the foul.
Second foul on Holmes sends Clark to the line. Only the second time tonight. Czinano spelled by O'Grady. Caitlin Clark, a terrific free throw shooter on the season. 3-point advantage now for Iowa in the Big Ten championship game. Goulbe takes it right to Martin, is fouled, and Martin is shaken up for the Hawkeyes. The foul was on O'Grady. And Kate Martin's tough. If she's on the floor, she's hurt. Played a game last year in which she broke her nose and was pleading with Coach Bluter to go back into the game. Re-broke the nose. Bluter's like, nope. Sometimes you just gotta not be Kate Martin.
She might be back in before the end of this quarter.
Goulbe heading to the line after being fouled by O'Grady. She's a senior, but has decided she will not take her COVID year. This is her final season in Bloomington. Second team All Big Ten performer. Leads the team in offensive rebounds. So smooth at the line. 80% from there on the season. Got them both on that trip. Trims the lead back to 1. Marshall, cut off by Goulbe. As we hit a minute to go in the third quarter. Clark pulls her way in, draws contact, no foul, but O'Grady is able to score.
And again, that's what a drive like that does. Even if Caitlin Clark doesn't make the shot, she forces a rotation. It is really, really difficult to rotate on a lane line drive, and it opens up offensive rebound opportunities. But every time she's driven hard right.
Yeah.
So if you're Indiana, you might want to make an adjustment.
Cardano-Hillary cups out. Clark tips it over. Taiwo. And a few times you'll see her walk it up. Guarded by her arch nemesis. Oh, no, good defense by Golbe. Need a shot from Clark. And the Indiana fans reveling in the opportunity to yell air ball at Clark, who very rarely throws one up like that.
That's how you know when you've made it, right? Like one of the most controversial players are the ones that you want on your team, but the opponents dislike the most.
Yep, but
love it. This fourth quarter, if you see what's at stake right here, is this fourth quarter Caitlin Clark time. Does Indiana, playing their fourth game in 4 days, have enough left in the tank to push through?
Kate Martin left it short to get things going here in the fourth. Indiana lost both games to Iowa in the regular season when they played 2 times in 3 days a couple of weeks ago because of all the COVID rescheduling. That saw some rematches not happen. Very strange and in some instances controversial.
Yeah, and in some instances not even one matchup happened.
Berger wanted the foul call, didn't get it. Clark fouled by Holmes, and that is four now, excuse me, on Grace Berger.
And that's a play right there. Grace Berger frustrated that she didn't get the call on the other end. Knowing that you have 3 fouls and how instrumental you are to this team, make Caitlin Clark finish that. You can jump and jump straight up. Make her finish that. That is a tough finish for any player.
Caitlin gets the ponytail right. As the chant of air ball comes out. March Madness well underway. Champ Week, this is the Big Ten Tournament Final. Pac-12 follows us. Utah and mighty Stanford. Holmes couldn't handle the Berger pass. So Berger staying in there with 4 fouls.
Yeah, and again, I think, Terry Morin trusting Grace Berger on the floor, trusting her experience, and if you're Grace Berger, you have to stay really disciplined right now.
Czinano has never taken a 3 in her career, by the way. Passed it up to Martin. Nice off glass. Kate Martin's had a really good tournament.
She has. She was 5 of 7 against Northwestern. She had 8 points to go along with career high 11 rebounds against Nebraska.
Kate Martin for Iowa. Lisa Bluter describes her as the absolute glue for the Hawkeyes. And she said that she needs to stay aggressive. She had 8 points and 11 boards yesterday in the semifinals. You saw her go out earlier. She is tough as nails, came back. The trainer, Jenny Serter, said that she is ready to go. She missed that first shot, came back, and got the next one to drop.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, Pam. She's tough as nails, and that she would be back in.
Yep, 0% surprised.
Yep.
That Martin's back in after getting the wind knocked out of her. Meanwhile, Czinano just picked up her 3rd personal foul that led to Holmes's 3-point play and has cut the lead to 4. Czinano staying out there with 3. Clark works the baseline, and Mackenzie Holmes swatted it. Kept in play by Moore McNeil. Pat Berg missed. Holmes fouled.
Are you kidding me? That block almost sent me out of my chair, Pam. I mean, look at this play by Mackenzie Holmes. What a block. She is in the right place. She swats that thing, and the hustle to be able to keep it in play by Chloe Moore McNeil. Wow. I almost fell over on top of you.
that was emphatic, and now Holmes right back at the free throw line. One out of 2 in that trip. Three-point ball game as we go under 8 minutes to go. in the Big Ten championship. Iowa, runner-up last year to Maryland, who was not in the final for the first time since they joined the Big Ten. Went out in the quarters against Indiana. Czinano, yes. She could get a little emotional as well.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I think that's what separates these two teams, right? The competitive nature and the emotion. And she just goes to the baseline side, high off the glass. You know, from that angle, it's tough to see where that contact came from.
Yeah,
But that's the game plan, to make Czinano score off the block, and she does it, right? And she does it, and I think that's just a credit to Monika Czinano, her focus, her drive.
she's got 23, 10 of 15 from the floor. Cardano-Hillary has cooled off. Gulbe still working it on the boards, but Warnock ties her up. Possession arrow keeps it with the Hoosiers. Indiana playing its 4th games in as many days, and they're going toe-to-toe here.
Yeah, they sure are. I mean, you know, Indiana is a tough team physically, mentally. It's a team that has positioned themselves to do something that this program hasn't done in 20 years.
And Iowa trying to win a regular season and tournament championship in the same year. They've never done that. Co-champions with Ohio State this year, who got the #1 seed. And lost yesterday to Indiana. Berger.
Nice pass.
Yes, go back.
You have to come up to try to help when Grace Berger gets in there, because it's like a layup, and that extra pass, and now trying to get the crowd going.
Czinano.
And what a heady finish to go to the other side. Mackenzie Holmes was right behind her. She knew it, she felt it. But that's doing her work early. She didn't have to dribble the basketball. She was right there as Cardano-Hillary knocks down a 3.
She has been frustrated. A couple of those fouls you saw when she flailed out an elbow. She still has 18 points, but has missed 6 of her 7 shots and only has a couple of assists. But Monika Czinano, it's been a 1-2 punch for them the last couple of years, and Czinano is having a spectacular tournament.
She's been terrific. I mean, she has been dominant inside and certainly has been the go-to player here today.
27 points, that is 4 off her season high, 39 her career high, which happened in the Big Ten tournament last year. Pat Berg, nope, there's Warnock.
And I think that's the thing for Indiana right now. You can't settle for those threes. You've got to continue to do what has allowed you to be successful. Attack, drive, get looks, and there's Czinano, the facilitator. She beats you one-on-one, so you send a secondary defender, and she finds her open teammate.
Terrific look to Warnock. The lead is 7. Pat Berg beats Marshall, who's one of their better defenders for Iowa. Allie Pat Berg, just her 3rd bucket of the game. Martin one-on-one, nice move around Berger.
Well, this Iowa team on an afternoon when Caitlin Clark is struggling, collectively are finding ways to answer.
And remember, Berger playing with 4 fouls, so she couldn't really challenge Martin. Clark goes down, nothing called. The bucket goes in for Berger. Cardano-Hillary quickly with the double. Warnock, a little bit too strong. Czinano chases it down. Martin cuts to the basket. Berger Again with 4 fouls, couldn't challenge her. Martin with a couple in a row. Seven-point advantage inside 4 minutes in the championship game. Full bay. Holmes comes up, sets a screen for Berger. Nailed it.
Oh, geez, Grace Berger.
We've got to crash the offensive boards too. We can do this. She was the one who was sending the team out of the huddle with that kind of great energy.
And she is shooting 75% from the floor during this tournament. This is their 3rd game. Caitlin Clark having an off day, but her team's still up by 5. Full bay, bottled up. Cardano-Hillary. Berger. Yep, Berger kept it alive. Playing with the 4 personals. Here's Pat Berg.
You got to attack those seams. Indiana, these last 2 possessions, all they've done is pass it around the perimeter, and that's a great play by Gabby Marshall. Getting a deflection, getting a hand on it.
And head coach Lisa Bluter said without her defense, they would not have beaten Nebraska in yesterday's semis. Terrific perimeter defender, has not scored today. Only had 1 bucket yesterday. Czinano can't stop that. Wow.
Pam, Monika Czinano is just a perfect example of if you do the work, it's going to pay off. You do the work, it's going to pay off. Not just the work throughout her career, but she does her work early on the post-up, gets high percentage looks.
Now you got to wonder if maybe the legs, on ESPN, ESPN2, and the app. Both of these teams will be in the tournament. Warnock came away with it and is called for a foul that sent Pat Berg to the floor.
Well, I think Warnock got away with a travel first. And she caught the ball. Looked like she traveled, but she didn't. And then taken off, and the little extra at the end right here, coming away with the elbow. I think Allie Pat Berg sold it a little bit as well.
That is the savvy you expect.
Yes, seven-year veteran.
Senior, 25 years of age. And we talked to her earlier in the season. She said, you know what, if they wanted me to come back next year,
yep,
I would.
if I could come back, I would.
Wants to be a coach. She would be terrific. But right now, her team needs points. That'll help. Cardano-Hillary, who has been the thorn in the side of Caitlin Clark all day, hits the 3. Four-point game inside 2 minutes. Clark. We'll check that. Marshall is the one who hit the deck, and a foul called on Indiana.
Well, Indiana running the out-of-bounds play. Good execution right here. Cardano-Hillary had enough time and space. She knocks it down. The bench was loving it.
She's got 18. Berger with 20 to lead the way for IU. Czinano with 29 for the Hawks.
Right now, you got to expect right here. I love what Indiana's doing, sending 2 players at Caitlin Clark.
And it's Cardano-Hillary again, who forces Clark to foul.
That was a great call from Indiana out of the timeout. They sent Grace Berger up top. Cardano-Hillary got a hand in it. And Caitlin Clark called for the foul. That's what you call star defense. Lynn Dunn talked about that all the time. You got to have a star defense. What are you going to do when it's a time and score situation to get the ball out of the hand of a superstar?
Pat Berg lost it. Cardano-Hillary, here's Gourbet for 3. Big rebound by Clark, who was fouled, and now it's really getting chippy. Cardano-Hillary with a little laugh after the foul was called and the reaction from Clark.
The shot comes off. Pat Berg comes in. Couldn't quite get it. And Nicole Cardano-Hillary getting a hand in there.
And the death stare from Clark, and that elicited a laugh from Cardano-Hillary. And here's a compliment for her with all her defense. That's the first personal foul on her.
Wow. You're absolutely right. That is a huge compliment.
And the clock definitely on Iowa's side as we approach a minute to go. Warnock pulls it out.
Both teams have timeouts, so don't have to foul and play good defense and make sure you get the defensive board if you're Indiana. If you're Iowa, you want to force the action, go to the rim, attack.
Czinano has been a good option all game long. I think Grace Berger has just fouled out.
Yeah, late on that rotation. Really good offensive execution by Iowa.
And Grace Berger picks up her 5th.
Yeah, she was just a little bit late on that rotation. Gets underneath Czinano as she's trying to cut to the rim and catch and shoot.
21 points for Berger as her day comes to an end. One out of 2, Czinano with an even 30. One off her season high. Indiana's got to hurry.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that we didn't use a timeout to run a set play. Taking a lot of time.
Pat Berg, guarded by Clark. Drives, Clark blocked it. And a timeout taken by Lisa Bluter and Iowa. And Terry Moran says, where's that foul on Clark? And that has been all weekend long for her. Clark gonna play a little keep away, and then finally is fouled. That took a while.
Looked like they didn't want to foul Caitlin Clark, wanted to make her give it up.
Clark, a terrific free throw shooter. And now Kate Martin heads to the line.
You talk about Monika Czinano and what she's been able to do for this tournament here today. Well, Kate Martin has been the X factor. She really has. Caitlin Clark had 41 last night, has struggled from the floor today, has still put up pretty good numbers, but Kate Martin has been the X factor for this Hawkeye ball club in this tournament.
And this is something that's got to hearten some breaks, some rest, and has turned into, blossomed really into a really, really good player. Foul on the baseline. On Kate Martin. Charlie Cream has Iowa as a 3 seed coming into the NCAA tournament. Indiana as a 4, which means they would both, along with Michigan as a 3, get to host. And we talked about it earlier in the day, but boy, the Big Ten, what a year it's been for the Big Ten.
Yeah, it sure has. Ohio State and Iowa share the title, really 5 teams in that last week that were fighting for it.
Cardano-Hillary missed that on purpose and then had it taken away by Warnock, who called a timeout.
Won a championship, come in here, Caitlin Clark off by Caitlin Clark standards here tonight, certainly, but everyone else has stepped up and found a way for this team to position themselves for a win.
And a foul right away, and you have to give Indiana so much credit. Goodness, 4 games in 4 days after playing pretty much every other day, as you mentioned, down the stretch. They lost 4 of their last 5 regular season games. and 2 of them to Iowa. And because we talked about this when we looked at the reveal and thought maybe Indiana was a little bit too high, considering they were skidding a little bit towards the end, but Holmes was not healthy.
Yes.
And they're going to be dangerous in the tournament, you think?
And again, 10 games in 26 days in the month of February, as you mentioned. Mackenzie Holmes reintegrating back into the lineup. I don't know how the committee takes all of these things into consideration. You certainly think that they have to. COVID rescheduling, players in and out with COVID as well. But positioning themselves with this kind of run in the tournament shows you the type of team that Indiana is.
They're done. You know, Hillary, no one will be happier, I think, to see her graduate than Caitlin Clark, because her career will be over after this season. They're all going to go home and wait for Selection Sunday. Caitlin Clark and the Hawkeyes are Big Ten tournament champions.